Hello, puny earthlings.
This is Frankenfoot here. Ain't made a video in a while. It's because I've rising up the ranks in Town Hall 10. I don't have anything amazing to do. These Town Hall 10 2-stars are not amazing. But at any rate, here's some Town Hall 10 2-star action for you. Nobody really seems to talk about this. Everybody's really focused on the 3 stars. But it is my lot in life these days to pick the top Town Hall 10 and see if I can get 2 stars on that son of a gun. We have one Town Hall 11 that's active, and we usually are pitted against 2 Town Hall 11s and more, so which means we don't have any Town Hall 11s coming down to dip for the 10s here. So we normally leave those 11s up to our 111, and then we got to figure out what to do about these 10s. And I'm seeing these ring bases pop up more often than not up in the upper echelons of Town Hall 10. These guys are hoping that, I mean, I guess if you're fighting in Town Hall 10, you've unless you've gemmed like a crazy man and spent thousands of dollars, you've seen ring bases before. The concept is very easy. This Town Hall is very, very hard to get to. You put a queen walk or something in here, you put bowlers in here, there's nothing to bring them in there. So what on earth do we do about that? I have found a very effective way to do this is to make the greatest funnel known to man. Basically a half base funnel. And then dump a bunch of miners in after the town hall. Now, if these were second hits and I knew where things like giant bombs were, I could approach things a little bit differently. But if I were designing this sort of base, I would put all my bombs and stuff around here, right? Just in the event that somebody did send somebody in there and they could get in there, those bombs would try to take care of it. So I usually have a heal spell waiting for the miners. And that takes out the Town Hall 10, and then you're just waiting for the rest of your army to take out the rest of the base. I've gotten very close to some triples using this attack. One day when I have enough time, maybe I'll figure out how to push over the hump and get to the 3-star here. But for 2-starring the top Town Hall 10, this works quite well. So let's go ahead and hop into the replay so you can see the army composition. What I'm pretty much doing is starting with a queen walk, because these ring bases usually have some exposed air defenses. Now, I don't know that for sure that the queen can lock onto these before a lot of damage is done to the healers, if at all. So we're gonna take a step around that. But often that's the trouble with these ring bases. Things are sort of organized in a way that if you've got healers, you can wipe stuff out pretty darn quick. Everything's sort of lined up like bowling pins or something. That made sense in my head. Anyway, the other feature that these often have is an offset clan castle, which makes the lure very easy. So in this case, I can just drop a giant here, get the lure, and then I can, with the queen walk, take care of the rest of those pesky little town hall, or pesky clan castle troops rather. And interestingly enough, I've come close to 3 multiple times on this, and every time I've failed, it's pretty much been a time fail. But I really can't get the queen to move any faster. Maybe when I get up those last couple levels and get my king to 40, things can move just fast enough to get the 3. But anyway, so the steps are pretty simple. Start with a queen walk, wipe out a good chunk of the base. Then I'm going to send a golem with 4 witches and 5 bowlers and the king behind it, and have them get into the base, and things are basically just going to walk around a circle, creating a ring of death and destruction that moves in this direction. And then at that point, I'm actually going to start the queen walk over here, and I'll explain why in a second. At some point in time, this entire half of the base will be wiped out, and then I'm free to send miners in. Now, I love miners because they are robust, unlike minions, which can be taken out by a single air bomb or very quickly by inferno towers. They target buildings rather than just targeting defenses, so hogs couldn't do this. They're faster than dragons. You can bring more of them than dragons, so you've got some contingency to check to see where things are. And they can avoid all the traps until they get to their target. So there's a lot of good reasons to do that. Plus, if you start mixing dragons with this army, you don't know where the seeking air mines are, and you can't be guaranteed that the healers picked up all that stuff. And at any rate, this works very, very well. And you'll see that if I had just used a spell a little bit differently, just because I didn't know what was in this base, I might have actually pulled off the 3 here. But anyway, so start with a queen walk. I'm starting on this side. And I'm doing that because this is a lot of splash damage here. You've got a cannon here and some Expos here, but they're kind of out of range. And so it'd be good to start wiping out these, this bomb tower and these wizard towers, because that's what's going to be the worst damaging to the miners and the witches that I'm going to drop shortly. So very shortly I'm going to pull this with the giant. No idea what's in there. I'm actually going to drop the giant right here, hoping he's going to walk in between those buildings. I don't think he did. But at any rate, it'll give him a more torturous path to get to here at the very least. And because there's a gap there, I don't know if there's a spring trap there or what, and I don't want to lose my darn giant. But we'll pull that, and then the queen will start the walk here. Clan castle troops will come over here. I'll wipe them out with the queen. I've got 3 rages. I can use them on the queen. I can use wherever to try to get these things taken care of and keep the queen up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a golem here with bowler, drop a golem here, and I asked for a golem giant, but I got a golem wizard arch. So, you know, I'm just going to throw that out there. But drop a golem here, and then wall breakers on this side. I'm going to try to do that pretty quick. My goal is to get the queen to come in here and take out that air defense before it damages the healers too much. And then shortly after that, I'm going to drop the witches on this flank and bowlers behind it, and then the king somewhere around here. And they're going to start taking all this stuff out. And then I'm going to drop a jump spell right here, because these ring bases, they don't use their walls to create a complicated base structure. You can just bring one jump spell and you're pretty much in the main chunk of the base. So then imagine all this is wiped out. Things are going to move into here. All this is going to wipe out. I should say this. I meant to walk in this direction, but you never know which way the queen's going to go for real. Usually when I see a pattern like this with this wizard tower right here, I would expect the queen to walk in this direction. Were I spunky, I would have tried to drop a baby dragon here to make a funnel, but that usually doesn't do much and just waste baby dragons in camp space, so I didn't elect to do that here. But I actually did want to walk in this direction and take out the queen, but that didn't happen. So I had a backup plan depending on which way everybody went, but it worked out well enough. Anyway, so things are going to jump into this base, wipe all the stuff out, and then when things are clear, send a test miner in here or there to make sure they're actually going to go for the town hall. And when they're ready to go for the town hall, drop a whole mess of them. I'm going to drop a heal spell right around here, just in case they pop up, and they pop up on top of 2 giant bombs. They're going to get healed up pretty quick. And it turns out I didn't need to do that. But you just don't know. You don't know what's going to be up there. Because 2 giant bombs pop up and skeleton traps pop up. Your miners, I think, will survive those giant bombs, even if there's 2 of them. But then the skeletons are going to distract them and possibly wipe them out. So that heal... I brought that heal there just for safekeeping, and you can see they'll be just out of range of that Inferno Tower. And that's pretty much it. That's the bulk of the strategy. So watch the replay. We'll see how it happens. You're going to see the giant come down here, and what comes out but a baby dragon, 2 archers, and a pair of witches. So witches and queen walks can be kind of bad things. They distract your queen pretty... horrifically. So you want to be careful with your poisons, that you want to make sure the witches get in it. So we got a whole boatload of skeletons coming down for the queen. I went ahead and dropped a poison. I've got my finger over a rage spell in case I need to keep the queen up. And that baby dragon's doing some work, but she pushed through it. Finally, the witches enter the poison spell, and they're going to fall. And now's the moment of truth. Which way is the queen going to walk? It's looking good. I think she's going to go for the wizard tower. No, she turned and walked the wrong way. That's okay. We were planning for this. So down comes the golem and the frickin' wizard arch. Boom, boom. Wall break into there. The queen is now going to walk into here to take out that air defense before it can do any real damage. Down come the witches and the bowlers. They're going to start working on these things out here, but I've got a jump spell to try to bring them into the base once they've sort of taken care of all those things. You see that wizard tower hurting those witches pretty bad by taking out all those skeletons. But anyway, things are looking okay. Golem is still up. That Inferno Tower is on multi, so Golem and heroes are not a bad thing to send to it. What the heck? How did these guys... Oh, did I have it? Somehow they broke through that wall, so that jump spell is completely useless. Well, 2 useless spells in this raid. Why? How? Must have been bounces or something. Anyway, so things are moving along. You got the witches on the outside with bowlers behind them. You got the queen in the interior with the healers. So things are looking pretty good. Things are just going to wipe out this. And so you can see I'm starting to send test miners out here, seeing what they're going to target. They didn't quite go for the town hall, so we're going to be a little bit more patient, let them sort of take out this entire half of the base. And now they're finally going for the town hall. So I'm dropping them all. one mass thing. And I dropped that heal, which turned out to be a waste, but it's what you had to do. And they very quickly take care of the town hall. I've got a whole mass of miners, and boop, they pop down. Skeletons did pop up, but I've got enough miners that they'll wipe through them pretty quick. Boop. Now, if only I had that heal spell now. I could have dropped it here. But things are looking pretty good. I had a couple rages in the tank, so I went ahead and dropped a rage. Let them start taking care of as much of the base as I can. At this point in time, I'm just trying to maximize my percentage. Just in case it does come down to a tie war, and if I can get a very high percentage on their top 10, even though they can probably triple our top 10, which is not quite me, but it's pretty darn close. Because they got more 11s than us, but whatever. Yeah, and so we're just riding this thing out. If I had that heal spell, those miners could have taken care of the whole rest of this and just left that wizard tower up, which the queen could have easily made mincemeat of. But anyway, so there's an example of that army composition. I was pretty close. I don't think I could have made it through as offensive, but at the end of the day, I did run out of time. Let's hop on the last one. We're going to see the same army composition. Used elsewhere, war log, details, view map. Let's see, where am I? Not a great war for us, but that's okay. Alright, so here's another max town hall 10. Now this guy actually had single infernos, so my goal was to make sure that I didn't send any heroes or golems in those single infernos, but that's where the witches come in. So, same thing. You see an offset clan castle sending in the giant. Dragon balloons come out. I'm going to start the queen walk somewhere down here, and I think I wanted the queen to walk in this direction, and then she's going to, in that way she can pop out that air defense pretty quick. And then I'm going to send the same thing. Golem, king, witches, and bowlers behind them. Have them hop over the wall, and then let them do their little ring of destruction. Now, in this case, I do have these single targeting infernos here, which are not really bad news for the miners, but in this case, I'm changing the army composition up a little bit. I'm bringing a freeze spell instead of an extra heal or rage to freeze these guys while the miners are doing work there. So anyway, so here comes the lure. Dragon balloons, quite common. How down comes the queen. Oh, the queen went on that direction. Okay, my memory fails me, but let's see. Let's watch this develop. So, queen, I'm a little bit patient with that poison. I wait till the dragon's right on her to make sure the balloons get a good chunk of that poison. Because if the balloons start dropping on her, it's a bad day. Let's see, do I pop her ability? Nope, she takes out the balloons, the poison, and the queen take out the balloons before anything bad really happens. I thought I'd get cheeky with that bowler and try to take out some buildings and help with the funnel, but it didn't really work out. She still walks just whatever the frickin' direction she wants to walk. Oh, man, she's really lighting that king up. Look at her. Woo! Pew, 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 pew. All right, very good. So, yeah, and she walks in the wrong direction, I think. But that's okay. She's popping out that air defense. And the same thing's going to apply. Eventually, she's going to round the corner. All right, we'll speed through this a little bit. A lot of time on that queen walk. Okay, here we go. Rage to keep the queen up, and then here comes the rest of the attack kill squad thing. Yeah, witches, bowlers, same thing. Thought I dropped a jump, I guess not. A little bit different. Maybe I'm waiting for them to clear the entire top half of this compartment, because as you can see, I don't have a great funnel for the miners yet. Been a while since I've seen this attack. Not quite what I thought it was. But down come the miners. I dropped almost all of them. I was in panic mode. I've not yet used this strategy yet. I remember now. Yeah, there we go. So the miners come down. I drop a heal spell to keep them alive in this instance to help get them to the core. And they're actually doing a lot more work in this base. I didn't allow just the funnel to do that. This was more of a layered cake base rather than a cyanide ring base. But you see those infernos wipe out that golem, but now the miners are in there, and they've wiped out both inferno towers. And I've got the 2-star secured now. It's just a manage of how much percentage you can get. So, memory failed me a little bit on that one. A little bit of a different style base, though, not that cyanide style base, more of a three-layer ring base. But anyway, worked out for me. Let's check the next one. City Hunter. here. Okay, more of a ringish base, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to draw the clan castle troops with the giant, queen walk, king golem, and then witches, bowlers, king, jump into the base, and lay waste. And then once the funnel's big enough, try to send in the miners. So as you can see, the queen, same thing, dragon, balloons. Did pop her ability because I was worried those balloons are going to smack her on the head. I started on this side because I knew whichever way she'd walk, she'd take out one of these air defenses. I was probably hoping she'd walk in this direction based off of where I dropped the healers, which means she almost assuredly walked in the other direction. But this is closer to more similar to the cyanide style base. Look at that little queen. You see that gap, right? That gap right there is what drawed her in the other direction. But half the times it seems like she goes the way I want when that happens, and half the time she doesn't. So anyway, but point is she can't stand here and reach that building. She had to walk over to reach it. So we're moving right along though. She's queening it up. She's walking it up, taking care of that air defense. They're just out of range of this air defense right here, I bet. Woohoo! So she's going to take out that expo, then she's going to walk to the outside. I went ahead and dropped the rest of the kill squad rather quickly. Witches are a great thing to send on heroes just because those skeletons distract so well. Bombs. So I sent wall breakers in, but I didn't quite get it, so I've still got that jump spell. I'm probably going to jump right around here, and that'll give them access to this compartment, and the Inferno Tower. And eventually everything's going to coalesce together and just sort of go through laying waste. You've got the king. Oh, the king actually jumped in there and took care of the town hall for me. God bless him. Man, I totally forgot how these attacks work. None of these went to plan, but they worked. So King still has his ability. So heck it, he's just going to take care of the town hall himself. I don't even remember what I did with the miners. I'm sorry, guys. I thought I had wonderful replays that had a theme and a motif, but no, I've got chaos. I've got sheer endless chaos. So I went ahead and dropped the miners here just to help them battle through with the rest of the kill squad. And as I recall, I think the healers actually latch onto the miners. And in this raid, I learned healers can heal miners even when they're underground, which is pretty wicked. But right now the healers are uselessly latched onto a, well, not uselessly, I guess, but they're latched onto a witch, and that's not doing much of anybody any good. I've still got this freeze spell here that I have no idea what to do with. Oh, I guess I'll drop it on the Inferno. That's what you do with freeze spells, right? Something hot, you drop something cold on them. Makes perfect sense. Anyway, we'll speed it up just because the raid is pretty much done at this point, or at least my interaction with it. Oh, it must have been a challenge, a friendly challenge. I figured out that miners and healers latch on each other. Anyway, well, there you go. There's some ring bases at Town Hall 10. Hope you learned something. Strategy's been working very well for me in both challenges and in war. So you got a ring base at Town Hall 10. You just need 2 stars. This is a good way to do it.